There's a predator in the Amazon that doesn't hunt you, it hacks you. In this river, freezing is survival. The water is liquid mud. Visibility drops to less than an inch. So over millions of years, prey animals evolved one defense, and it's nearly perfect: absolute stillness. No movement means no pressure wave. No pressure wave means no location. No location means no death. The hiding fish doesn't need to be fast, it doesn't need armor, it just needs to do nothing, and the darkness protects it. But one predator looked at that strategy and broke it completely. Not by becoming faster, not by developing better senses, but by solving a problem no other creature on Earth even thought to solve. What if you could force the prey to move for you? What if you could reach through the water, bypass the animal's brain entirely, and send a direct command to its muscles, make it betray itself without it ever knowing you were there? That is not a metaphor. That is the literal, documented hunting strategy of one animal. And once you understand the mechanism, you will never look at electricity the same way again. The biological ping. Meet the electric eel, but forget everything you think you know, because calling this thing a swimming taser is like calling a scalpel a kitchen knife. They both cut, but only one of them is performing surgery. This animal is a biological hacker, and its first move isn't destruction, it's a question. When the eel enters hunting mode, it sends out what scientists call a doublet, a rapid, precisely timed two-pulse signal separated by just 2 milliseconds. The voltage is low, imperceptible. The fish tucked under that root feels nothing. Its brain registers nothing. It is still calm, still hidden, still issuing one command to every muscle in its body: do not move. But here's why the doublet is one of the most sinister things in the natural world. It was never meant for the brain. This specific frequency, this exact 2 millisecond timing, is tuned to resonate with motor neurons, not the central nervous system, not the brain's command center, the motor neurons inside the muscle fibers themselves. The eel has found the frequency that speaks directly to the hardware and skips the operating system entirely. Think about what that means. Your brain is not actually in direct contact with your muscles. It sends signals down a chain: brain to spinal cord to motor neuron to muscle fiber. The motor neuron is the last relay. It's the final messenger. And the doublet doesn't care about anything above it. It walks straight past the brain, past the spinal cord, taps the motor neuron on the shoulder, and issues a single command: contract. The prey's mind is screaming, "Stay still," but its muscles just received an override from something outside its body entirely. The fish twitches, once, violently, against its own will, and in doing so, it answered the question. The eel asked, "Is there anything hiding in that shadow?" The fish, helpless, just said yes and gave its exact coordinates.
The tetanus strike. The hack worked. In under a millisecond, the eel has triangulated the source of the displacement. Not by sight, by the pressure wave that one involuntary twitch sent through the water. The fish's own nervous system just handed over its location with perfect precision. Therefore, the radar becomes a weapon. The eel fires. A high-voltage volley, up to 860 volts, erupts through the water. But here's what most people get wrong. The voltage isn't the point. A car battery produces 12 volts, and it will kill you if you touch the terminals. 860 volts from the eel is not a bigger version of the same thing. It is a completely different weapon, because it's not designed to electrocute. It's designed to take control. The barrage doesn't fire once. It fires in a sustained rapid pulse series, so fast that the prey's muscle fibers cannot complete a full contraction-relaxation cycle between pulses. They contract, they try to release, but the next pulse arrives before they can. So they contract again and again until the muscle is locked, seized in a state of continuous, unrelenting contraction. Scientists call this induced tetanus, the same mechanism that makes the disease tetanus so lethal, but weaponized, targeted, and delivered in under 3 milliseconds. 3 milliseconds. Your eye blink takes 150. Your fastest conscious reaction takes 250. The fish has been located, targeted, and neurologically seized before a single conscious process in its brain has had time to respond. And here is the part that makes this genuinely disturbing. The fish is not knocked out, it is fully conscious. Its brain is still running. It can sense the water pressure changing. It can sense its own muscles refusing to obey. But the pathway between its mind and its body has been severed. Not cut, not damaged, just overridden completely by a signal it has no defense against and never evolved to resist. Some researchers have also documented the eel curling its body around the prey during this phase, forming a circuit, sandwiching the target between 2 points of discharge, effectively doubling the voltage delivered to the animal's body. It doesn't just fire from one direction, it wraps the weapon around you. The fish isn't being hunted, it's being remotely operated. The hardware. So here's the question that should be keeping you up at night. How does a living animal generate 860 volts without destroying itself from the inside out? Because 80% of its body is a battery. 3 specialized electrical organs run the length of the eel: the hunter's organ, the main organ, and the sax organ, and they serve completely different functions. The sax organ is the interrogation tool. It generates the low-voltage doublet pulses used for hunting. The main organ and hunter's organ are the weapons, reserved exclusively for the high-voltage kill sequence. The eel has literally separated its hacking tools from its destruction tools into different hardware systems inside its own body. All 3 organs are packed with thousands of modified muscle cells called electrocytes. Modified because somewhere in evolutionary history, these cells lost the ability to contract and instead became exclusively dedicated to generating charge. They are stacked in series, end to end, like batteries in a flashlight, except the flashlight has thousands of batteries, and they all fire at once. But here's the part that shouldn't be biologically possible. When the eel issues the kill command, ion channels across every single electrocyte open simultaneously. Sodium floods across the membrane in one direction. This creates a charge separation, a voltage, across each cell. Individually, a single electrocyte produces less than 150 millivolts, barely measurable. But stacked in series, those voltages don't average, they add. And fired at the exact same microsecond across thousands of cells, the cumulative discharge reaches 860 volts. Not nearly the exact microsecond, not close. The exact same microsecond, synchronized across an organ that runs most of the length of its body, coordinated by a nervous system precise enough to make your fastest neural pathway look like dial-up. That synchronization is everything. It is the difference between a static shock and a biological EMP. And the eel doesn't fry itself because its vital organs, heart, brain, liver, are packed tightly into the front 20% of its body, as far from the discharge zone as possible. Evolution didn't just build the weapon, it built the shielding. This system evolved in a dark river, without engineers, without circuit diagrams. Hundreds of millions of years before humans discovered electricity, this animal had already solved voltage stacking, biological insulation, and multi-frequency signal control. In a river where vision is useless, evolution didn't build better eyes, it built a remote control. It built an animal that can reach through the water into another creature's nervous system, issue a command the prey's own brain cannot override, and turn the prey's only defense into its cause of death. Stillness was perfect until one predator learned to make stillness impossible. Now, if a fish commandeering another animal's nervous system is breaking your brain, wait until you see what a deep-sea snail does when it decides to construct iron armor inside a boiling hydrothermal vent. That one has no right to exist. Click it right now.